All right, welcome back. And we're reading about Patrick Henry this time. So, Patrick Henry was a founding father, an orator, and a governor. And an orator is somebody who likes to give speeches and is really good at and can move people with their words. He was born May 29th, 1736, and he died June 6th, 1799. This would be him, and that's actually his signature. Patrick Henry was an American attorney, planter, and politician. He was also an orator. He's best known for his declaration at the Second Virginia Convention in 1775, "Give me liberty or give me death." So he's known as a founding father, and he also served as the first and sixth post-colonial governor of Virginia. So that means that he's known as one of the creators of our country, a founding father, and he also served as the first and sixth after the Revolutionary War was over. So when we're actually United States, after all this is over with, he's the first and sixth governor of Virginia. Henry was born in Hanover County, Virginia, and was for the most part educated at home. He's not like somebody who would be like, say, Thomas Jefferson, who's extremely well educated, or John Adams, those guys, the really the use a lot bigger words kind of people. He was educated at home. After an unsuccessful venture running a store, so after an unsuccessful attempt at running a store and assisting his father-in-law at Hanover Tavern, Henry became a lawyer through self-study. So he taught himself how to be a lawyer. Beginning his practice in 1760, he soon became prominent, so successful and important, through his victory in the Parsons cause against the Anglican clergy. Henry was elected to the House of Burgesses, where he quickly became notable for his inflammatory, which means he could get people like stirred up. His inflammatory rhetoric, his ability to use words to get people stirred up against the Stamp Act of 1765. So Patrick Henry's fame really comes with that same fury and anger that swept across the 13 colonies against the Stamp Act of 1765. In 1774 and 1775, Henry served as a delegate to the First and Second Continental Congresses, but he did not prove particularly influential, being somebody who was educated at home, who used to work in a tavern, who didn't speak like some of the more college-educated guys. Some of the people at the Continental Congresses they had issues taking him seriously. He gained further popularity among the people of Virginia, both through his oratory at the convention and by marching troops towards the colonial capital of Williamsburg after the gunpowder incident, until the munitions seized by the royal government were paid for. Henry urged independence. He was trying to convince people to, let's be independent. And when the Fifth Virginia Convention endorsed this in 1776, he served on the committee charged with drafting the Virginia Declaration of Rights and the original Virginia Constitution. Henry was promptly elected governor under the new charter and served a total of 5 one-year terms. After leaving the governorship in 1779, Henry served in the Virginia House of Delegates until he began his last 2 terms of governor in 1784. The actions of the national government under the Articles of Confederation, which that's something we will go into a lot of detail about later, made Henry fear a strong federal government, and he declined appointment as a delegate to the 1787 Constitutional Convention. So later, when we are talking about the creation of the Constitution, the rule book of our nation, Henry's not there because it's kind of like his silent protest. I'm not going to participate in creating a stronger government. I don't like strong government. I fought to overthrow the King of England. Why would I create another strong government here that's even closer to home? He actively opposed the ratification of the Constitution. He returned to the practice of law in his final years, declining several offices in the new federal government, so after the Constitution was made. A slaveholder throughout his adult life, he hoped to see slavery end, but had no plan for that beyond ending the importation of slaves. And this is a common problem. A lot of people disliked slavery, but that's how they made their money, and they didn't know what else to do. So they said, well, I'm in favor of no more new slaves coming in, but I don't really know the solution. Henry was one of those guys. Henry is remembered for his oratory and as an enthusiastic promoter of the fight for independence. This is actually an excerpt from one of his speech, his very famous speech. So, gentlemen may cry, peace, peace, but there is no peace. The war is actually begun. The next gale that sweeps through the north will bring our ears the clash of resounding arms. Our brethren are already in the field. Why stand we here idle? Is life so dear, or peace so sweet, as to be purchased at the price of chains and slavery? Forbid it, Almighty God! I know not what course others may take, but as for me, give me liberty or give me death. That's from his Patrick Henry's famous Liberty or Death speech. That is the speech that got him famous. It helped convince those in attendance to begin preparing Virginia troops for war against Great Britain. So, a little side thing. Thomas Jefferson did not like Patrick Henry. He thought that he was poorly educated, that he spoke like a commoner, but even Thomas Jefferson is quoted as saying, to the effect, it's not a direct quote, but he effectively said that, well, I don't really like Patrick Henry because he's not very well educated and blah, blah, blah. The way he speaks to a crowd, they understand him. He's really good at giving a speech. From Thomas Jefferson, it's pretty high praise, especially for somebody that he didn't like. Hopefully this helps you.